Vice Chair.
Oh, I guess so.
So you need to
All right.
do the, what do they call it? The rules of,
The rules of
Right.
engagement. So,
some British.
good
term.
morning. I'm Colette Smith. I'm Chair of the Arts Commission, and I'll officially open up the proceedings with the roll call. If you want to just go down the table and
Sure.
say your name.
Robin Alvey, Commissioner.
Leah Basile Lazarus, Commissioner.
Cassie Dickens, Commissioner.
Emily Co-Smith, Commissioner.
Sonia Johnson, Commissioner.
And
Excellent.
this is the first time, I think, many of us have all been in the same room together, so it's nice. Yeah.
So I think the first thing on the agenda is I'm trying to pull that up. The minutes from our last meeting. I would assume that we're going to do, yes, approval of the minutes of April 12th, 2023.
Yes,
I would
just, yeah.
assume everyone has had an opportunity to review those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second him.
Any discussion? No, then all those in favor of approving the minutes of April 12th, 2023 as published, say, all those in favor,
Aye.
and all those opposed? No, all right, the minutes are approved. The next item for discussion is the election of our chair. I would go ahead and open up the discussion and propose that Robin Avni be elected as our chair. She has the most seniority. We know, in fact, that she wrote the cultural plan. She's also connected with the State Art Commission. I think she's the most suited to lead us forward. And so I nominate Robin Avni as chair.
And I would say if you're okay with that, that would be good because you've got a lot on your plate and you're doing a lot with the state and everything else. So if you feel that you don't want to do that, then I would also say Colette would be a great chair. But it's taking nothing from you. I would
No,
say
I
it's kind
know.
of your
She's
decision.
gonna probably say no, though, because she's up to here with Cal, but not that I'm speaking for you, but
No, that's okay.
I'm happy to do it because the way I'm looking at it is the creative district effort right now it makes sense for me to kind of continue that on. But I do want to say that in January, I think we all really need to have a big discussion about how we should stack our bench. Because one of the things that hasn't been happening in the past several years is a way to look at how we're going to move the commission forward. And we have some new blood on here, which is great. 3 new members. We're going to get a 4th. And I think that's a good time to do some strategic planning. So if you guys want me to do it, I'm happy to do it.
All right. Well, then Colette, I'll second your motion to have Robin be the chair of the Arts Commission.
Are there any further nominations or discussions? Leah?
I'm good. That wasn't.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. Okay, then all those in favor,
Aye.
all those opposed? All right, then Robin Avni is now chair of our commission and you can take over the meeting.
Yeah. You do that. Yeah. I was holding my breath there. Didn't know if I'd make it or not. So thank you all. And thank you for your vote of confidence, but let's move together as a true commission. That's my intent here.
Great.
So, okay, we have city processes and timelines on here. I have no idea what that's about. So Tiffany, you want to explain?
That will be, Josh is here with us
Oh,
and he's
Josh.
going to talk about, items 2 and 3.
Okay, great.
Hi, thanks for having me on for just a few minutes. I'm just gonna make this pretty quick because we've in these meetings before, and I know some of the people are new and haven't had this, but we've reviewed the guidelines that council has for the boards and commissions. And just to I'm just gonna give a really quick overview of what that is. Essentially, we just want to ensure that communications for arts commissions are going through like the proper channels. And really the way that works is everything goes through the staff liaison, which is Tiffany. So if you've got questions about, what the Arts Commission is doing or should be doing, or if you have ideas about things the Arts Commission should be doing, just shoot those straight to Tiffany, and then she can disperse them to the mayor or the city administrator, or to me, or to the chair. And she can coordinate and make sure that everybody's on the same page and getting the same message. So that's really just kind of the nuts and bolts of how it works. Communications are something that council's kind of been stressing a lot, both with themselves and with their commissions. They want to make sure that the message that's getting out there is everybody's on the same page and everybody knows what's being talked about and what the path forward is. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. One of the things that we'd like to stress too is that be careful when you're out there representing yourself as an arts commissioner, that you're not taking a stance on things and making your own opinion put out there as an arts commissioner. You should be careful when you're speaking on behalf of the group, because the group is ultimately the one that makes decisions on what to support and what not to support. And we want to make sure that when you're speaking out on and giving your opinion, that it's clear that you're not speaking on behalf of the Arts Commission, but just on behalf of yourself. We haven't had issues with that with the Arts Commission, really, I don't think ever. So I don't anticipate that we will in the future, but I just want to make sure that's clear for all of our groups, that when you're out there and you're talking with your friends and your neighbors, just make sure that they know that you're talking as yourself and not as like a spokesperson for the Arts Commission. That is pretty much all I wanted to talk about on that subject. And anytime you have questions about what you can do or what you should do or what you shouldn't do, just reach out to Tiffany and she can help you right away with that stuff.
So Josh, is there a way also that any information, that you think that Tiffany or you think we should be aware of? Because I feel like a few things like with those planning meetings, somehow I missed it. They probably were in the gigabyte, but for the strategic plan for the city. So like I noticed Tiffany, you started sending us some different things, and that's great. And just want to make sure anything you feel we should be like for the planning commission or anything aware of that you all could send our way.
Mhm.
Because we're not all looking at everything all
Yeah.
the time,
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And Tiffany and I will definitely be, anything that comes across our table communication wise, we will try to run it through a filter and try to, figure out which of our committees need to know what's happening and be aware of things. And we will miss some things occasionally, but we're doing our best to make sure that you guys will stay informed on what you need to stay informed on.
That's great. Okay, and then next is you wanted to update us on the Harborview Stinson side work project?
Yep.
None of us know what the status of that is, so that would be great.
Yeah, we are in contracting status on that right now. So we have the contractor that's going to do the work. There's been some back and forth about what they can do and can't do since they met with you. Gosh, it's been almost a year now, I think. There was some difficulty in finding a concrete subcontractor that could do the inlay work for them, because the artist basically said we can do the installation pieces, but they don't have the skills to do the concrete work. So the way that's working out is the contract that they are going to get from us is going to be for the $25,000 project budget. And then they will be responsible for the subcontractor to do the concrete work. So essentially they'll get the 25,000 and they will be in charge of the project from start to finish. They're good with that. They found a concrete worker that they like that is going to be able to do that detail work. So right now it's with our engineering group. I'm probably going to meet with them in the next day or two to iron out all the details we need in that contract, and then we'll get it signed and then we can move forward on it. So I don't know if the installation will be complete by the end of the summer because they haven't done the castings yet. But that's kind of what we're hoping to be able to do.
Do we need to have them come in by Zoom and do an update on where they are at with the design and all that? Especially we have 3 new members, I don't think that have even seen the project or the plan.
Well, basically what we've told them is, I think they came and I don't remember exactly what they presented. They had their own concept that they showed you, and then the commission gave them some suggestions of what they would like to see. What the contract will end up being is saying, you know, these are what you proposed, these are what we would like. The ultimate final product has to be somewhere in between there. So they're not gonna be able to afford to do everything that we want them to do, and we're all aware of that. What they will do is, once they have the contract in place, they will decide what they can do within their budget, and then show us, you know, what they're planning to cast. And I think at that point, we can probably come back to the Arts Commission and say, here's what they've settled on. And then if there's any red flags or changes that you want to see, we can do it at that point. I don't think there's going to be any surprises, other than there may not be as much metal work as we had originally hoped for, just because of the cost of everything. But I think that it should be pretty much in line with what they proposed.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I think it would be good to have a review, because we'll hopefully have a fourth member, but new member by then.
Yeah.
And just to bring everybody up to speed.
We may be at that point for your next meeting in July. I'm not sure if they'll be ready with designs or not at that point.
Okay,
What's the theme of this
uh,
project?
it's sea creatures, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think if I remember correctly, they had proposed something more nautical, and then the commission asked them to kind of switch over to more natural sea creature type things. And I think that's what they're planning to do, but
yeah. Yeah, we just figured we wanted to kind of expand the reference to the harbor a little bit beyond ships, so.
Cast in metal, is that what I heard?
Yeah,
It's, yeah. And are there any other building projects that we need to be aware of for the city? Or through the Parks Commission plans there, that we should have somebody come in maybe next meeting and bring us up to speed?
I know the sports complex phase 1B is in process. I can't remember when they talked to you last about that. Did they show you guys the designs for the playground?
I don't believe
I
so.
don't think so.
No, we talked about some different things,
Yeah,
like murals and tiles and
yeah. Yeah.
that, but I don't think we ever saw a final design or a proposed design.
And
Um,
Jennifer's reached out to me about that, and I told her when she's ready to bring something to the commission, just let me know and we'll give her time on the agenda.
Okay, good.
The playground, we should bring that to you probably at the next meeting, but the playground has quite a bit of design element to it. It's kind of based on the theme of it is kind of the interaction between the native people and the first settlers that came, the first European settlers that showed up. That's all been kind of ironed out and moving forward, but I think Jennifer could probably come and show you what that looks like at the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that would be good. And I don't know where our role is in that, in terms of facilitating or looking at, or just saying, thanks for letting us know. So, you know, if you could clarify that, that'd be great.
Yeah. The Parks Commission is really the lead advisory board on this project, but you guys definitely should be kept on the loop on it. So we'll work with Jennifer to have her come and talk to you about it.
Yeah, great. And do we have any updates and Tiffany probably on just the Endeavor grants and how they've been going? Because I know some have been put
I'm
into
getting,
motion.
yeah, we're getting some, I've gotten some, completed stuff for reimbursement, not very many, but a few.
Maybe we could put on the bottom of the agenda, like, just to kind of track them.
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Sure.
Then that way we know, you know, where they are in process. I know
Sure.
2 people sitting at this table have completed their Endeavor grants. So, you know, but it'd just be nice for us to track
you
it.
know, I went to the Narrows Music Society one, and that's been completed, and I know they did their paperwork and all that. It was really a nice event, and I guess that the seminar with the high school students, it was like a mentoring, it's a professional saxophonist from.
Oh,
Tacoma
yes,
came
yeah,
over and like
that's.
mentored students from both Peninsula and Gig Harbor High School. And I guess they got good attendance there, and the kids were really engaged, and that went well. And then he did a concert with the Gig Harbor band that evening, and he was the soloist. It came out, well, it was with actually the Harbor Winds, the Narrow Winds group. And It was great. It was a really nice concert and he seemed really pleased to be there and they had a good audience and it was nice to see that they got the Creative Endeavor grant and that it went so well. And
Oh,
that
that's
it involved the kids as well as. the
Usually,
community.
sometimes they send us pictures and stuff. It would be nice to put a little report together on
Okay.
that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
So-
sure they have some photos.
Yeah, I'm
of that,
sure
but yeah,
everybody,
it was a
I know
nice
you
event.
have photos, I know you have a video and photos. And some stats, so it'd be nice to be able to track that and then we can. Sure. Hopefully then even continue to ask for more money. Look at all the good we're doing.
Right.
Well,
Um,
and then I was thinking today is Make Music Day, so it's
Oh,
like
that's
later
right.
on this evening, I'm heading down to Point Fosdick to hear
Oh.
that, but there's gonna be, there's stuff
Oh,
going on
that
all
they
day
do.
today.
I saw them setting up this morning.
Yeah, but all day they're having different, you
Okay.
know,
They do
performing
it.
groups, and so if you're down in that area
Oh,
today,
yeah,
it's just
that's where
fun
I
to see
live.
who's gonna be on the stage and
okay.
who's playing.
I saw the stage being set up.
They do a great job.
Okay.
Barbara does a great,
Yeah.
well, she's a pro, you know, I mean, this is what they do, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's. I think this is the second year, right?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, so that'd be great, just so we can
yeah,
be
absolutely.
knowledgeable when we inevitably get asked, like, when we're out, oh, what are those grounds for?
Mhm.
You know? One more question for you, Josh. And Tiffany, what's the status of, we have a commission opening, so what's the procedure and status now for that?
It's been advertised, we're recruiting. I think we've received 2 applications, I believe, so far.
When does it close? Or,
I'd have to check on that. I think we had it open for 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
okay,
Probably end of June, I would think, somewhere on there.
okay, all right, so by the next meeting then, we should have somebody? Maybe by July?
Let me check, because it'll still have to go through council for approval, so that would
Yeah.
be, let me look at the date exactly here.
Cause our next meeting is the 12th, so I don't know if that would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
not for the July meeting, it would probably be in the second meeting, or the council will probably approve it on the 24th of July, so it'd be for your August meeting.
Okay, great. Anything else, like just business that Tiffany or Josh, you wanna share with us? It's, lots happened in a month.
Not that I can think of.
Not from an administrative standpoint, no. Tiffany and I, as you probably know, have been kind of the lead on the communications for the city, so we've been getting a lot of notices and flyers and event stuff that we've been putting out in the Gigabyte email. So we're kind of using that to promote arts events as we find out about them. So if you know of things that are happening in the community that are, you know, either part of our Endeavor Grants program or maybe not, you can send them to us and we'll get the word out on there.
What's the deadline monthly for that?
Oh,
It's not that-
Oh, it's weekly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weekly, so yeah, as soon as you get it to us, we can get it going.
I've been informed that you do, Tiffany apparently does the Gigabyte, are you still doing it?
Yeah,
She writes it, so we've got an inside
Okay,
track
yes.
here,
Okay.
but you do it on Monday, right?
no, well, I work on it kind of throughout the week, but it doesn't go out until Friday. So
Right.
if you can get, anything that you can get, or, early on that week, I can get it plugged in.
Okay.
If I can get it at least by, I'd say Wednesday would be good. Wednesday, maybe
Oh.
Thursday, but,
Can we do a plug for the creative district again? Meeting.
yeah, I mean, we can suggest that. I don't know how much, are we wanting to really draw in the public for that, Josh?
Well, we need to have some kind of an outlet for the public to participate in it.
Yeah,
So as we figure out what that process is gonna be, then we can start promoting it more. I know we did talk about it a couple weeks ago, I think, about the meeting that we just had and what was discussed. And maybe after the next meeting we have, we can do another update on it.
I think and I've talked with Katrina a bit and I don't know what she's, so just for sharing with everybody. The procedure usually is that you kind of do some kind of open meetings to get community feedback. So right now, what this step is, next meeting is really to kind of form the ad hoc committee. So, and just
Well,
say
I
who's
think
interested.
before we get too far down that road with the district, we need to have a talk about the nuts and bolts and financing and how it's gonna work with the Downtown Waterfront Alliance, because they'll be the lead agency on it. So I think that's probably conversations that we need to have internally here to figure out what those next steps are really going to be. And then once we get that nailed down, then we can start talking about public participation and go from there.
Yeah, exactly. But Josh, one of the things I did present to the Waterfront Alliance, and Katrina was there, and I presented what this was all about. And, you know, naturally Carrie Ann has questions, et cetera, as well. But the thing is that really we're not at a point where we decide. It could take another, a variety of forms. Different cities do it different ways. So that still needs to be sorted out. I agree. Yeah, but there is, I guess my point is that there is an avenue to get community participation. So if we want to not put it out on the gigabyte, now that makes sense to me. As long as we have a good turnout and you say we've had a good response.
I've got quite a few RCPs, yeah.
Good. All right. Anything else in terms of business? Colette, you want to do a little punch for the art show that's coming up next month?
I think that most of you received an invitation by email to our member show, which takes place inside a Timberland bank during the festival. Of course, the big thing is the festival for July 14th and 15th.
15, 16.
15th and 16th. Thank you very much. Yeah, see, you know more about it than I do. So July 15th and 16th, of course, is our big festival, and the member show takes place inside the bank. So all day Saturday and all day Sunday, you can look at an art show inside the bank, in addition to all the vendors. We have fabulous vendors this year. Great selection. There were well over 200 applicants, and that went through the juried process, and we have 120 vendors, I believe. So and we have some just fabulous volunteers who've gone all out on the advertising this year. Anyway, that Saturday evening, there'll be a reception where the members, our juror, will be giving out awards for the member show, and there'll be wine and some appetizers, and you're all very welcome to be there.
I'm pouring. You're pouring.
Well, oh yes, I forgot.
Well, we
Our
know
certified wine pourer.
how proud you are that you're.
Oh,
a
It
That
is
I-
Leah.
Were.
I'm glad that you're the pourer, because while the previous pourer did an excellent job, she's a little light.
I'll Kathy, promise, but I'm certified, so I have to be careful how much I pour.
Okay.
I do, it's part of my job.
Well, and so this is, I'm gonna pop in something here because I think it's adjacent to the arts fair, which is one of the things on our work plan is to do a community survey again, update our survey, which we did a few years ago. And I thought that if we could pull it together by then, it would be nice to, we have a built-in audience at the art fair. And I would, in case Casey, I'm looking at you. Is it Cassie?
Mhm.
Cassie, I'm looking
Cassie.
at you. Because I know you set up that Google thing for
Oh, yeah.
the crafts fair,
Mhm.
or the makers market. And I was wondering if what the commission thought about kind of trying to do a little survey about arts in Gig Harbor. And one of the accesses could be that we could have a I think you did which one would it be?
QR code?
QR code.
Mhm.
People could sign up. And it would be different. Is Colette still there? Did we lose her?
I think she just turned off her camera.
Oh, and that, that we would we would have an opportunity maybe to get some citizen feedback there or some other way. It doesn't have to be a QR code. I know a lot of people are like, what is this? I don't
Because
want to do
I
it.
know you've talked about a survey before, but, and I wasn't here for the prior survey. But what kind of input are you looking for? What responses are you looking to?
We could send out a copy of what we did last time. Basically, what I did was I took from the national group Americans for the Arts. They have a survey they do, because that way then we have a comparison on a national scale where Gig Harbor is. And last time we did it, it turned out it was really powerful because we fell exactly where the national surveys fell. So it gave it extra, it says, well, we're here, we're right alongside, we're below on this one or above on this one. And it does ask about interests, what do you engage in? And it considers the cultural arts, everything from music to cooking, to art, to, makers. It offers a broad engagement. And then basically we asked who in your household's engaged, and it was
Well,
like
that sounds good.
78%. Then we did a few open-ended questions. We try to limit those because they're, a mess to manage, but just to say, what would you like to see for the future of arts in Gig Harbor? And I think it'd be good as we move into the fall for any sort of creative district planning to also have this survey. So I throw it out for discussion just as an idea, and because that seems like a good opportunity, even though we get people in from outside the city, it would definitely give us, even if we just, got a few 100 or so responses, which I'm sure we would get more, because I know it's been, kind of circulating about, well, what do you think of for arts and culture in Gig Harbor? So any thoughts on that?
Would we have it at the main, is there a main entrance desk? Is that, I don't know. I've never
Yeah,
been to
I
the
have no
festival
idea.
before.
This was kind of an, I guess I'd have to talk to Heidi, right, Colette?
Yeah. I think there's an awful lot going on at the information booth, I suppose, would be the place to do it.
It could basically be, we could create a little flyer and hand it out, just have it around at different booths, I would think. What did you do for the makers?
I think it was at the info booth, and then maybe was circulated. There was a separate, we assigned a few people to that. And then we even had it on a little stand-up 3x5, holder, and it had the QR code. We also had incentives. So we did have like the Alderbrook Resort gift certificate that was donated. And so we gathered the information. We also had that. And so I don't know if maybe there's a gift basket or something that could be offered with it. And I can talk with Heidi too about it if it's something that Colette and the committee decides on.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I liked also the idea of just having some little handouts with the QR code at different booths that people can then pick up and do that as well. But Colette, what do you think? Do you want us to just coordinate with Heidi on that one?
No, I think, let me talk to her, because I think the least intrusive thing would be just to have handouts with the QR codes.
And we don't want it to be intrusive, so.
Right, and I really think that so that it's not detracting from the vendors who are there, who are the main attraction. And that people aren't like, oh my God, now I have to do a survey, that type of thing.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think if you want to put together, if we as a commission wants to put together some pamphlets with the QR code, I think that would be the way to do it. Because you do have an opportunity to get it to disperse it more widely at this event.
I wonder
So
if
if you want to be there handing them out, or if you want to just leave some at the information booth, that's the way I would go about it.
We could probably do a little bit of both, I would guess, you
And
know.
maybe at the art show too. Just.
Oh,
have a
the art
pile at
walk,
the-
yeah.
Oh, we can do art at the art, yes, we can do art walk, that's true, but I was thinking the art show for the 2 days at the bank, maybe just a pile of
Oh, that's a good
handouts
idea.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe if we do them in postcard size, so if people pick them up and put them in there and they're a little harder than just regular loose paper. that
Yeah,
People put them in their wallets, pick them out and not throw them right away because it's a postcard that they look at it and whatever.
yeah, maybe we could put some art on the front of it. Imagine that.
Maybe we could do that. I like the incentives, though. We can probably get some artists to donate stuff or whatever.
Right, and it
So-
just, it gives you that little bonus. I know, when the city had their open house, you know,
Yeah.
kind of talking about ideas and all that, it's like, if you give them your email address, you're in the raffle for a free gondola ride. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds good,
Right.
you know, and so it makes you want to
Mhm.
sign up
Right.
for it.
We're doing
Okay.
that at Gallery Row for our emailing list.
Mhm.
We have a $50 gift certificate every month that we give out. So, yeah,
And then we could put a few, because you have the Makers Fair going on.
Yeah, I was
So
just
we-
thinking that.
We could
Mhm.
put some down there as well.
Mhm.
And we could probably put some at the Waterfront Alliance with the coloring book party.
Mhm.
That they're gonna have to
Yeah.
kick off the coloring book from the Endeavor Grant. So I think we got a few
Yeah.
spots where we can put things just unobtrusively, but. So, okay, Tiffany, how do we go about doing a postcard?
Robin, if I could jump in here for a minute. There's some good ideas, but there's a few things we need to keep in mind. So to do a survey, it needs to go through Tiffany. We have programs we can use to develop a survey, and we can do the QR.
Yeah,
code,
yeah,
and we can do the printing, and all that will go through Tiffany to do.
of course, that's great.
The
We're
other,
happy to
the-
have Tiffany do it.
yeah, the other consideration is we can't really do a prize or a raffle for this because the city has pretty strict restrictions on what we can give away
Yeah.
in public funds and that type of thing, even if they're donations. There may be ways around that, but that would take quite a bit of legal work for us to figure out. So I don't think that's really realistic at this point.
That's fine, yeah.
And because this needs to be something the commission does as a commission, what I would recommend is that if you want to create a survey, probably the simplest thing to do would be to just authorize Robin to work with Tiffany on that and come up with the survey questions. Because otherwise we'd have to have a special meeting, get everybody involved, and I don't know that we really need to do that. I think Robin has a pretty good idea of what it needs to be.
Right.
So if the committee is willing to empower Robin to work with Tiffany on developing that, we can probably do that. Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the other caveat is that we need to make sure that we have the capacity to do that. It's kind of short notice before the art fair. I think we have time. But I'm gonna need to talk with the mayor and city administrator and make sure that's something that we can add to staff's work plan for that. So I think it's in your work plan. I think this is something we can support. I just want to make sure that you know that we do have to run it by the people upstairs before we can commit to anything.
Of course, I mean, thanks, Josh, we understand that. I just think, you know, we didn't have a meeting last month, and so we lost a little time. And, you know, we've got a lot of items on our work plan that we need to engage in. This just seemed like a good way, so hopefully, I mean, I would also suggest that we use the same questions that we did last time, and I don't know the tool that we did. And I would even suggest cutting down some of those questions, like maybe just make 10 or 15, you know, I think we had 20 some questions last time. so-
Oh, yeah, the shorter I think is
Yeah.
better.
That's too long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it went out in email only, you know, and last time it was always, we only kept it in the Gig Harbor. Gig Harbor boundaries, zip codes, but it should be you know, anybody should be able to answer it, because as people are coming into Gig Harbor for certain things, and we'll ask them where they're, you know,
Right,
what
you
their
get
zip code is, you know,
right.
so we can collate by that.
Could the QR code be in the gigabyte?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was just thinking we could advertise
Oh, that's a good idea.
in the gigabyte.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, really, any sort of information is more than we have, so. I think that'd be good. Okay, great.
Mhm.
Do I need to make a motion for that, Josh? Tiffany?
I think so.
I don't think you need a motion. It seems like
Okay.
we have consensus from the commission that that's the direction to go.
Okay, yeah, you guys will have to remind me of when we need to make a motion or not, so. So, okay, let me talk about the creative district meeting. So I hope you all can be there. The next meeting is this coming Tuesday afternoon. And the intent for that is to see who is returning from that original meeting, which got such a great response. So, and I didn't know if any of you had any comments about that meeting. I know you were all there. Any thoughts about it or anything you thought we missed or?
That was a great introduction, definitely.
I do too.
Okay.
I thought it was great.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So the next meeting really is where we begin to set out, they have a work plan actually on the site, if you want to go look at it, some of you already have. But the first thing that really we're gonna do is just kind of do one of those sticky note exercises. And kind of see what areas people are interested in and then begin to see how we're gonna form and move forward, as a group. And then most likely what we'll do is we'll convene in September. Because once July hits, which is in 2 weeks, everybody's
crazy,
either
right?
vacationing or whatever. And that also gives us time as a commission to do some planning around it when we meet over the summer. So, does anybody have any other questions about that or? I'm really looking forward to this conference giving us some inside kind of dope on like, okay, this didn't work, this worked,
Right.
and which I think will be very helpful, like, so we don't go down a path that it's like, not a good idea, right? Like, oh yeah, we tried that and it really fell on its face. Okay, good to know. So, but that's kind of where we stand. When you say we have a good response, 10 people, 15?
Oh, I think it's more than that.
Okay,
I'd say probably closer to 15 to 20. I've moved them all over and then I'm gonna go through and I'll add them.
all right.
And
Should we
then I'll let
send-
you know.
Okay, and maybe we need to send a reminder. Can you send a reminder?
Yeah, we can send a
Yeah,
reminder.
just, I think this is Wednesday's a good day to do it and just say, hey, just a reminder if you have an RSVP.
And have we as a city decided that they're pursuing this?
Yes, Katrina and the mayor are behind it
Okay.
and that's what I say, they're supporting the investigation of it.
Okay.
Right, so that's, I think, the best way to put it, which is that, they think it could be beneficial, but they want to hear what people want, right? They don't want to do something, but if you see the city just came out with their new plan for strategic plan. One of the things on there is so tied into potentially for a creative district, which is to maintain the historic quality of the city, which is what the creative district is all about, is basically maintaining a unique quality of your city. So I feel that right now, Katrina's very supportive. She's been sending out the mails. She wouldn't be doing that if they weren't interested in moving it forward. I've had several conversations with city council, just ad hoc through different meetings. They all seem very supportive of it. So now, if you've heard anything different, please share.
Right.
No, I just wanted to be mindful of the different steps as far as speaking it out into the community and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I've known Josh has kind of educated that along the way.
Yeah, and I'm sure Josh and Tiffany will keep us in line. I have no doubt about that. But yeah, and that's, there are specific steps and so go, if you haven't seen it on the website, you can go. I mean, it's all open, it's flexible. It's not like you do A, B, and C. But we really have to come up with basically a plan for the city. And the city has to be involved in it. So I did speak to the Waterfront Alliance about the plan because it will potentially impact them if it lives there. I also have spoken with the head of the Chamber of Commerce about it. So Miriam Batson, is she coming again? Did she?
I believe she is. I believe
Okay.
I got one from her.
Because it's an economic plan, so it needs to have the businesses engaged as well. It's not just all of the arts.
Right.
Okay, so yay, I hope to see you all there if you can. I know you.
Sorry, I
can't.
can't.
I'll forgive you.
I know.
And I know, and Colette will be in
In
Italy.
Italy.
We really feel for her.
Drinking
Um,
lots of wine.
Yeah.
Poor dear.
She'll think of us.
Yes,
I know she'll. Give us-
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other reports? Let's hear how that art walk's going.
Oh, Art Walk is going fine. It's a constant. I was telling Sonia this every month. It's like, how are we gonna do this? So I feel like we're really still in the figuring out stage. We are in conversation with the Russell Building. They have a patio.
Oh, my
I know.
God.
They have a
The
patio.
famous Russell,
I know.
everybody.
They have a patio that we'd
They
like to
do.
use. We have a little jazz threesome that will be performing. Sonia's husband got us in touch with him and them, and I'm gonna meet with him on Thursday. And we're getting what gallery is Dart Frog? I don't know.
Oh,
that.
what is that? I keep
I don't
forgetting
know.
the
I
name.
think he's a photographer.
He
Anyway,
is.
he's gonna have an artist, I think, in front of his place. We're gonna have, of course, Water's Edge, Gallery Row and Ebb Tide, but not Ebb Tide.
What about Woodstock?
Woodstock, Chuck is not around. So we are going to we've been in contact with him several times. So he wants to be involved and he's really enthusiastic, but he's not around. And Ebb Tide is right. I was thinking tides and I'm like, my brain was a little
Yeah, Ebb
confused
Tide
there. So Ebb Tides, but we're also thinking that in this space, it's an outdoor space. Bill would like to have a tent and we have to get an okay. We have to have insurance to use this outside space. So Josie's been working hard this week, trying to get all that in place. So I think the jazz group will play from 11 to 1 in that open space, and then we'll have an artist from 1 to 3. So
That's awesome.
we're excited, but it's like baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Who can give us permission? How do we get these artists? So we're working on it. You know what that's like. So
Leah, did you get Larry Fowler?
the group, except for me, decided that they wanted visual arts and music. Larry,
Oh, that's a shame.
I know,
That's a shame.
I know.
There's no
and
reason why you couldn't have books. Books
I
are
know.
art. Or
I
books
know.
are-
I know. Bill was the pushback. He pushed back a couple of times and I said, fine. So I told Larry that we would, if we got the space by Woodstock and Heritage are negotiating something. And so that space
You probably
might,
can't commit then.
then that space might be used for something between them. So it may not be available to us. Our group will talk about Larry again, and maybe next month we can, not in July, but maybe August, Larry can jump on board. Maybe you two or anyone else can give me some fighting facts to talk to Bill about, because I agree. I think books are an art form and literature, poetry, all of that works with the arts. So we just have to convince Bill.
Well, I'm happy to help,
Yeah.
because Larry's group has grown
Yeah.
tremendously. And we also have the Writing in the Harbor Conference from TCC, which has
Ah.
expanded tremendously as
Okay.
well. So we are beginning to also be perceived as a place for writing as
Oh,
well.
okay.
So, I
Yeah,
think.
they have, they have the porch of Timberland Bank and a tent at our festival and have for years. And it's, a lot of people like that. They,
Yeah, they
you know, look forward to meeting the artists, look forward to buying the books.
Okay, I will make sure that all of us go and meet him, or at least go and look at his setup, and maybe Bill can talk to him. I mean, I'm sure Bill will be available that weekend. Yes, I'm all about it. And
Well-
he's so enthusiastic, by the way, that for me to email him yesterday and say, hey, we decided as a group, we're gonna hold off on that. I was a little disappointed, but
He'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Larry's good and
Yeah.
he'll be there. We'll see him
Okay,
Tuesday because he's really very excited about the creative district prospect.
Good,
So,
good, yeah.
so it'll all happen. That's, if nothing else comes out of the whole creative district, it's gotten us all talking to one another,
yeah,
which
Right.
is to me the number one benefit. I mean, just out of that one meeting, that creative district meeting, you and Larry hooked up and were trying
Right.
that. Peninsula Arts got some funding for something from somebody she was sitting next to. And something else happened. I was like,
Mm.
all right, for like 2 hours or 1 hour, we got a bunch of people in a room and already all these connections are happening. So, that to me is the most important thing about this. So, all right, anybody else have anything? Do you, Cass, I'm gonna call you Casey forever because my daughter had a friend named Casey, but it's Cassie, right?
Cassie, it's
Yeah.
Isaac backwards. I was named after my grandpa.
Oh, were you?
So if that ever helps you
Okay.
pause.
It will because
Isaac.
my,
Yeah,
I
that's
have a
great.
son who's named Isaac,
Okay,
so,
that's
okay.
why I have the 2 A's.
Okay, so Cassie, okay, that's really nice.
Yes.
Anything on your schedule for all your makers things?
Well, we have markets, we have one a month finishing off the summer. So we'll be in Scansy Park for the rest of the summer. So we have once a month, so. we'll
Are
be-
you there when the farmer's market is, or?
No, we'll be there either Saturday or Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah, that way each can have their thing. So July 16th, August 12th, and then September 2nd. And then we're looking at next year will be consistent on like a second Saturday of the month and whatnot. So it's been a great thing that's come with Harbor General closing. You know, it's opened actually lots of doors. So Scansy Park was always our dream. And that way we could have the food and the music and all of the things. And so that's just been a great challenging road to get there, but it's amazing how that happens. I know, not affiliated, but Pride in the Park is happening this Saturday. So they'll have aerial artists again, they'll have live music, they'll have food vendors, and quite Hillary, who does the murals in town. She's doing a mural for that, and that's very interactive.
is she doing the mural on the side of Harbor Nest? Harbor Nest is putting a
Oh, is she
mural up.
doing, I don't know, I'd have to ask her,
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
When we were in there, Leah, she mentioned they were doing a mural on the side.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
What's Hillary's last name?
Isaacson. Mhm.
she was part of the coloring book group too. There were like 9 artists or something.
Okay.
Who helped with the coloring book. And in the art walk, did Jean do something at Harbor Nest? for you?
She did. Yes, last month.
Mhm.
And just thinking about this, I wonder if local makers and Art Walk should all be the same
Weekend?
weekend.
Yeah, it's nice to
I
connect
mean-
the dots. I know,
Right.
I've done that with Chalk the Walk and
Right.
the Summer Arts Festival and, so that'd be great to.
Right, so
get
that we
dates.
get a lot of people downtown, we
Mhm.
have music, we have literature, we have
Send them all the
makers, we
way.
have fine
Yeah.
artists, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless 2 different weekends is good to get 2 different groups of people, I don't know, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But a big thing once a month sounds fun,
Especially in the summer.
yeah, especially in the summer.
Yeah, and we definitely want to consider the downtown businesses and helping support the Alliance and so
Right.
forth. So I usually check with Alliance on dates and the chamber and how
Right.
can everybody work together.
Well, and I heard there's some new businesses coming in town.
Mhm.
A candy store and.
Oh,
Yeah, Stacy's bringing in her fudge and yummy. Her fudge and yummies. She's the former owner of Bougie.
Oh,
And Love
okay,
of Spice is moving into the
Right.
waterfront market. And then Stacy, I can't remember the new name and I'm not quite sure what her style will be.
Well, there's a vintage store going in where Bougie was, right?
Yeah, that
Oh.
that's a new owner that I don't know.
Yeah.
Business owner.
I get all my information on this from Facebook, of course, so I'm sure it's accurate.
Yeah.
I just read that too.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, finally, I know what's going on. down there. But it all sounded really good, so,
are we getting a bank?
Oh, I
That's
don't
what
know
I-
about that. That's what I heard. I
That's
think
what I
that
heard.
was a bank before, because it had a
Yes,
drive-in.
right.
I don't know why a bank would need all that territory, but what do I know?
Mm.
Okay, anybody else? New buildings going up?
No, there's not too much new things. It's, right
A lot
now,
of
things are a little
remodeling?
slow. It's mostly like, remodels and things like that. But yeah, new construction is kind of. slow.
Yeah, it's expensive,
It's a
isn't
hard-
it?
Yeah. 'cause
Yeah,
prices are high, so it's harder.
yeah. Okay, we have no people here from the public, so no public comment. Anything from you, Tiffany?
No. I
Have we
think
covered
that's- I
everything?
think so.
What time is it? How are we doing?
Almost 11, 10:52.
10:52. Did we do it all in an hour?
Yeah.
We did.
It was good.
Does anybody feel the need to extend it another hour?
No, this is my
Never.
last hour of
I
freedom
did.
before my kids are out for the summer.
Okay, there you
Drink it
go.
up.
Man, all the things in 1 hour.
Yeah.
So much to do.
Well, let us help you have 1 hour of freedom. Yeah, oh my gosh, I remember that.
Me too.
All right, well, is everybody good with everything? I mean, we covered a lot, so,
Yeah.
are we, how do we adjourn? Who moves?
I
Does
can
somebody
make a
have to
motion
move?
to adjourn.
There we go.
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll see you
Okay.
next month.
Yes.
All right, yeah, and I'll see you all next Tuesday, I hope,
Right.
except for you.
So I sent you an email.